What's going on, Clippers fans? Jonathan Timm back here for another interview video once again. I'm the play-by-play broadcaster for the Muskegon Clippers this upcoming season, and today I'm joined by head coach Logan Fleener back for his second year of running the show as the head man in the dugout. So again, coach, thanks for joining me today. 4 months to go until the Clipper season begins, but how's the winter weather treating you down in Tennessee?
Man, it's been pretty warm actually. We got some bad storms last night, so we had an early morning tar pool to start the day. So it's about 40 and cloudy right now, but it's been pretty warm most of the week.
Yeah, that was us earlier this week, but we got hit with a ton of snow last night. And quite frankly, I want this weather to be gone and spring to start, and ultimately for summer to begin. And of course, for summer, that means Clipper baseball. So we'll talk more about your current position with Chattanooga State and their program momentarily. But my first question for you is a follow up from last season. Now you took over for Walt Gawkowski, who is now the GM of the Clips, and you have prior coaching experience in addition to your playing days, of course. But what specifically went well for you coaching wise in your inaugural season as the head man in the dugout for the Clippers?
I think first and foremost, man, the job was made easier by the two guys I have on staff. Brian Wright was a carryover from Walt's staff and has been there since the start. And then I got to bring a pitching guy with me and probably one of my best friends in the entire world, and Dion Felger. And the relationships we got to build with the players was probably something I underrated. Guys being from all over the place, and you think you only have a short amount of time, but you spend a lot of time with them. Almost every single day, we're doing something. If we're not traveling, we're playing. If we're not playing, we're trying to get a little workout in. So I think the relationships was probably one of the surprising parts for me.
Well, that's good to hear. Always good to have familiar faces in your staff and like below you in the coaching lineup departments. But now we talked about your playing days. Once a Clipper, always a Clipper. Coach Fleener, you played for this organization back in 2016 um, when you were playing your college ball, obviously. But ultimately, what made you want to come back to Muskegon, not as a player this time, but the one deciding the lineup cards and making the game plans as head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it many times. The summer that I spent there as a player was probably the best summer of my life, playing wise. And I loved the Gawkowski family. I loved playing for Walt. I loved playing for Brian. Muskegon's got a special place for me. My grandparents are there. I've got uncles there. My dad grew up there. So it was kind of the first opportunity I had to play on the same field as my dad, and kind of the Fleener family side of my life has been in Muskegon their most of their entire lives, and getting to be with my family who didn't get to see me play a ton in the South growing up was really unique. And what the Gawkowskis create and what they do in Muskegon and how important they make the team and the organization, it felt like it was a blessing to get to be a part of that and take that opportunity on.
100%. I love what the Gawkowskis are doing, and I guess me personally, very excited to spend my summer of 2023 in the beautiful city of Muskegon, one of Michigan's most well-kept secrets. Now, my next question for you is rewinding to my statements of your position at Chattanooga State, but let's hear the bigger picture. Give us the timeline of your coaching career from the early beginnings to your current positions and where you are now.
Yeah. So I started my coaching career in my fifth year of college academically. It was going to take me 5 years to graduate. So I started as kind of a student assistant volunteer at Roosevelt University, where I had finished my playing career at, which is an NAIA school, possibly a D2 school coming months, in Chicago, Illinois. And spent a year there. We had a great time. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of the guy that, as my career slowed down, I thought I might be a much better coach than I am player. And I really enjoyed playing this game. But growing up, it kind of always felt like there was something in the coaching world that I thought. And my parents and even my grandparents have been really involved in sports their whole lives. And so the kind of transition was easy. After Roosevelt, I spent a summer in the Northwoods Leagues with the Rochester Honkers. Really got to work with some really good guys and experienced that, and what a fun summer that was. And then spent 2 years at Trevecca Nazarene University, which is a Division II school in Nashville. And I learned a lot. Getting my master's was a blessing while I was doing it, but learning from that staff and getting to be a part of it was really huge. And then the last 2 years, I was incredibly fortunate to spend at Tennessee Wesleyan University, which is an NAIA perennial powerhouse NAIA. We got to go to the World Series last year, and it was 2 years where I just couldn't consume enough knowledge from the guys. They were incredible with me, and then that led to this past summer, which was the Clips, and then in August I was lucky enough to accept a position at Chat State.
Wow, so clearly a lot of prior experiences under your belts prior to arriving with the Clippers organization, something I'm sure that the Galkowski family and all of Clippers Nation is excited to see in action once again. And I'm sure big things await for you in the coaching field. But we're going to switch gears now to specifically this upcoming season. Clippers baseball, as I'm sure you're aware of, has strong ties within the Muskegon community. You've gotten to experience it as a player and coach. Last year, you guys finished with a record of 17-21, and quite frankly, the anticipation for this upcoming 2023 season has been an extremely high level. We have 6 guys returning to the team. That's going to be a huge part of your roster. But what needs to happen in order for the Clippers' success to stand this year from a statistical standpoint and a wins and losses standpoint?
Yeah, we got our feet under us in year one. We did not reach the expectation in any way. We left a lot of meat on the bone. But I think this year, one as a staff, the three of us are much closer and more prepared because even though Brian had spent 6 seasons, we'd all done summer ball. We'd never done it together, and we'd never done it in this league with this group of guys. And so having that year under our belt, I think, is going to be huge. And then, how lucky we are to have 6 guys come back speaks, one, to the atmosphere and the environment that they got to play in and that they enjoyed, that they wanted to come back, because it's a grind. And getting those 6 guys that want to come back is something we're really excited about. And it's also going to help when we bring in, the other 25 guys, and you've got 6 returners that can kind of say, hey, this is kind of what we want to do. This is what they expect. This is how we do it. We're going to just kind of speed that process up, which I think is going to be really important to start early. In a season like this, the start, the middle, and the end are all important. It's not 162 games, sadly. So we got to get our feet under us quickly, get these guys, build these relationships, understand what we want to do as a team. And we've also, as a staff, have got to learn what these guys, what they do well and how they need to be coached. And we don't try to change anybody. It's not, we don't have that kind of time. We really just want to give them a good experience. We want to develop them and just tweak little things. And then we want to win a lot of baseball games.
I'm sure the wins and losses will obviously come, but I mean, the expectations are very high for the Clippers this year, especially with how tight the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League is as a whole. It's only about a 5-6 win differential between first and last place. So I got one final question for you, Coach Fleener. Walk us through your first home run at the plate during your baseball career. Now, it doesn't matter if it came in T-ball, Little League, or collegiate level, but it's a big milestone for a player within the game of baseball. So, yes, your first home run ever. Walk us through what that was like for you.
We'll go with the first. It's actually a Clippers one that I clearly remember. It's a funny story. I was hitting leadoff, and the lineup had flipped, and we had first and second. And I was a guy that constantly was okay with bunting and moving guys. And in that situation, I was thinking, we're going to drag here, see if I can get on. And Walt walks down. It was a lefty. And he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I think I can see this guy. I think I saw this guy well. I lined out my first at bat. And he said, all right, first 2 are yours. And first pitch fastball, middle in, and hit it. One of those you didn't really feel, didn't enjoy it. And I get around first base. And I didn't do this many times in my life, but it wasn't one that was a wall scraper. I got into it a little bit, and everybody else, the 2 runners in front of me, are slow jogging, and I'm coming around second base like I'm trying to go for a head first slide into third base on a triple, and the thing's bouncing in the parking lot out there. So that, I think, is probably my first one on a big field. And it's a Clip story, so why not?
Fantastic story, and quite the memory, especially within the Clippers organization. As a player, I'm sure we're going to make lots of memories this year. As a franchise, I'm excited to be a part of it. I know you're excited to get things going, and hopefully the players are as well. So with that being said, that just about wraps things up with my interview with head coach Fleener in his second season with the Muskegon Clippers. Again, Logan, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to meeting you in this upcoming season.
I'm excited, man, and go Clips. We're excited to get there.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.